Welcome to ITWeb TV at the ITWeb Security Summit 2024. My name is Simnikiwe Mzekandaba. I am joined by Alta Weeks. She is the National Sales Manager at NIL Data. Alta, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Alta, tell us, I was actually sitting through one of the panel discussions, and I think the main topic was around cyber skills. Can you just give us like an overview of what you're noticing around, scarcity around cyber skills?
So I think the fact that South Africa is sitting at number 5 of the most vulnerable country actually already speaks to how shortage skills we actually have got in South Africa. Mm-hmm. And I think also the other thing is that it's not just in cyber, it's across all the platforms within security, from your governance to your auditing to your cyber security. And the shortage is actually, it's quite significant from you get your high level, but then the entry level to the high level, that's where the gap sits. Is that there's no one that is in the pipeline that can actually start, moving into those senior roles. And it's quite scary to see it.
And why do you think that is, that there's no that gap exists, particularly in the space that you mentioned?
Yeah, I think various reasons. I think the fact that companies, sorry to say that, are spending their skills levies on the incorrect training. I think they are not future planning, if you are going to spend money on skills, make sure that you can actually absorb. And I think a lot of companies are doing it, possibly, some are, I can't say for all of them, but some of them are doing it for the right reasons. They're putting the money to the youth and actually, absorbing the youth. That's it. But the biggest problem is that they will get funding, millions of rands, train hundreds of students on skills that are not relevant today, skills that are not needed, skills that are not in demand currently. But they're doing it because they're getting the funding, and then it's like, you got to place them at other companies. And instead of saying, well, what is potentially needed in our environment, and how can we upskill that youth with the right skills that we can actually absorb them?
Oh, that's such a tragic.
It is, and it's big.
Yeah.
It's big. Yeah.
Because obviously the youth are coming into, let's say, an organization with the hopes that they're getting the right skills that are in demand or will get them a job, post that, and also in the hopes that they'll also maybe be absorbed by the organization itself. But if it's just to tick boxes, that is discouraging.
It is very discouraging. One of the speakers, I was sitting in one of the sessions, and what they said was actually so profound. They said that if you are training to not absorb, you're doing something wrong. And that is very profound.
We can only hope that message reaches other organizations as well.
I'm hoping so, because I think, the thing is that also, I think we're also stuck in our ways of how we train, that we have forgotten to look outside of the box. How can I train differently, still get the same benefits, but actually make an impact?
And speaking of training, Alta, how does NIL Data ensure that its training programs are actually, meeting this current demand? What we've, spoken about since we started chatting.
So what we've basically done is we've taken a step back, and that's purely because we come from a managed services actually first. So that's how we started. We have got over 90 CCIE engineers, which is currently more than what South Africa's got.
Okay.
So South Africa's only got like 68 CCIE engineers. We as NIL actually owns 90. And so what we have done is we've taken a step back and we've looked at what is the requirement out there.
Okay.
And we then said, okay, so how do we make it more relevant to the client? Because ultimately that's what we want. We want absorption, we want the pipeline, and we want the skills to be in South Africa. And we basically have come up with a very amazing plan. We sit with a company and we'll say, what do you need? And 90% of the times it's international certifications. You know, it's your vendor certifications. It's your Microsoft, it's your AWS, it's your CompTIAs, it's your Cisco's. But the problem with that is doing those trainings, it doesn't give you the tick boxes. So we've now said, okay, well, how do we get you those tick boxes? And that is what we've now done. And we now can sit with a company and say, what is your tick boxes? Let's put it together and actually give you the skills that you need. So we've made sure that, you know, we do the vendor partner trainings. We collaborate with industry experts. We ensure that the trainings that actually take place is what is needed in the industry now. Our programs are also reviewed 6 monthly. As opposed to every 3, 4, 5 years. You know, and that is the problem. You know, I always say to people that if you want to be a doctor, go do the formal qualifications and training. If you want to be IT, you need to be relevant every 6 months.
I'm surprised that you say that it's the reviews that happen every 3 to 5 years. That's such a long time.
100%. Yeah.
And do you have any like success stories that you can share in terms of, you know, like how companies have improved the employee experience by, you know, by working with you now, your organization?
So we've got a few companies. What we did is we engaged with them and we said to them, what is your pain points? And a lot of them have said that, you know what, we interview people and they come with a string of certs. And then we employ them because they're supposed to be relevant. And then when they get into the workplace, they actually cannot do the implementation or the deployment. So we've started realizing that people are training and certifying for passing the exam and not for the actual skill. And so we've taken quite a few companies and we've actually gone back to all the engineers from a level 1. And we've actually, so if I'm going to use Cisco as an example, if they are level 1 CCNA certification, we put them through a stringent of tests. And then we give feedback to the client and say, although he's got a CCNA cert, he's actually only capable of understanding 20% of it. So how do we get that 80%? And that's what we've been doing with clients. And the difference is that, you know, having to almost recertify them, but we recertify them on a skills level. You know, they've seen 40% less downtime. The employees have actually started moving up in levels because of, you know, the deployment, the implementation strategies that they now can actually do. So we've had quite a few success stories of that. And then the other success story, one of our very big telecoms companies, what they've done is they've looked at their employed people, and instead of doing a redundancy, they sat with us and say, okay, we've got all these people within a financial aspect. What do we do with them? Because a lot of these jobs are becoming redundant. Okay, AI is taking over, automation is taking over. So now how do we help these people? And we've actually taken all of those finance middle to lower levels, and we've actually trained them on Power BI. And we've put them on a learnership, so an employed learnership, and retrained them to be certified Power BI analysts. So one, they didn't now, you know, their job wasn't made redundant in the sense they have kept the same people. They have now actually added value to the company because now they're running reports, you know, that has now actually helped the companies either save money, get better data, and all of that kind of stuff.
That was Alta Weeks. She is the National Sales Manager at NIL Data. Thank you for joining us on ITWeb TV at the Security Summit 2023.